Beautiful. Welcome back to the
Well,
Glitch.
welcome back to the Glacier Gaming Podcast. And today we got some awesome news. Probably the biggest hyped movie since Barbenheimer.
Madam
Barbenheimer.
Web. Madam
Adam
Web.
Webb. No. um, as you can see from Joe's picture in the background, we got some Deadpool Wolverine. The new trailer came out for the Super Bowl. Going to talk about Deadpool Wolverine, some of the speculation going on there. And also, Fantastic Forecasting was officially announced, just randomly dropped during the Madam Web.
And then the next day they were like, shit, let's just drop the X-Men 97 trailer as well. We won't be talking about that, but
Right.
um a little bit of damage control. I think Sony is just tanking the reputation of Marvel because they own Marvel products, even though it's their own Sony thing. And so Disney's like, you guys suck, and we
Yeah.
have to get some good hype
Because
around
Madam
Marvel.
Web's sitting at like 14 or 15% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
This is right
Um,
where Morbius was
People are
from the
throwing it
critic
in with
store.
MCU, and it's like I even corrected somebody on Twitter because I was like, I'm sick of seeing people say like this is
Right,
Marvel MCU.
right.
It's not even part of the MCU. It's not owned by Disney, so has nothing. You shouldn't throw that in. This is Sony messing up again. Like you
Yeah.
didn't like Venom, that was Sony. Oh, you didn't like Morbius, that was Sony. That was not one of the you didn't like
Right.
She-Hulk. Well, you probably just
The Sony properties are MCU adjacent,
yeah.
but they're not MCU. Um,
They had to like they work together collaboratively, but they don't represent each other. So what Marvel releases shouldn't be viewed as a Sony product, and what Sony
right. The
releases should
only
not be.
thing is if you see Tom Holland's Spider-Man in it, that's our Spider-Man. So
Right. Which we
yeah.
probably won't, because one of the spoilers I saw for Madam Web is they don't tell you they oh he has a son now
Yeah.
and his name is
Yeah.
and then apparently it goes inaudible, so you don't get to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
Anyway, speaking of that stupidity, can't wait to see that this weekend. Um, let's talk about the actual thing that people are actually excited for with Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, we never get to see Hugh Jackman in the trailer. That's the big thing from it. People are like,
You
well,
get to
we
see the
got
back of his head, maybe.
right. We got to see
Maybe.
the photos of him on set. Um, and he's doing a lot of the marketing with Ryan Reynolds on
Right.
Twitter and other
Right.
social media. Like Hugh Jackman's joining in, but because of how good Ryan Reynolds is with marketing, he's just proof he is a marketing mogul and genius.
Oh
This
yeah.
all could be. This is, I mean, theories going out there already that Hugh Jackman might not be in it at all. There's theories out there that he's only going to be in it for like a quick cameo scene,
Yeah.
and that this is actually going to introduce the MCU's Wolverine.
Yeah, you see a brief moment in the trailer where he's approaching someone at a like a poker table. Looks like poker table. They're playing some kind of card game. And it's the infamous, the hair spike,
Yeah.
which is like Mr. Patch from the comics.
And the
Um,
silhouette when he's picking them up.
right. And so yeah, it's there's so much speculation in regards to Wolverine because that specific Wolverine seems slender
Yeah.
compared to Hugh
Shoulders don't seem as
Jackman.
broad as Hugh
Right.
Jackman, but
Right.
my immediate debunk of that is, Hugh Jackman's getting older. He's not
Right.
going to be able to get as ripped as he's been before unless he
Right.
uses some sort of outside help, like with
Right.
steroids.
Or
So
CGI or something
it
like that.
could
But
be, yeah, or
right.
CGI padding of the costume, a
Right.
combination of some sort.
Right.
So it could be Hugh Jackman. He just doesn't look the way people expect him to look. Because
Right.
it's not like he's this huge, bulky guy. He's still got like skinny waist and all that.
Sure.
So it still could be him. But if it's not him, some people like we've had videos
The
about it
top
before who
fan
we would want
casts,
it. Zach
Daniel
Efron,
Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe, Taron Egerton.
Right.
If we're going based on the silhouette, Daniel Radcliffe would probably be the most likely one,
Right.
considering he's the most narrow of the three.
Sure.
Which,
Right.
if that was it, I would lose my shit.
One thing I saw, and we're talking about a specific scene in the trailer. If you haven't seen that, go look at it. But he's playing cards, and who would be across the table dealing the cards? A lot of people. I've seen a lot of speculation on who that is. Is it
Gambit.
Taylor Kitsch? Is it Taylor Kitsch? Is it Channing Tatum? Like, are they? Is he gonna do the fan service and getting that like fan service Channing
Okay.
Tatum
Well, who would
thing
you
in there?
rather have, Taylor Kish or Channing Tatum?
I think I would rather, if it's going to be a variant Wolverine, I would love to see Channing Tatum right
Okay.
there, 100%. Because
Especially
I
because we
think,
know they've worked together before,
yeah, yeah,
and Ryan
just that,
Reynolds is the one that called up Channing Tatum for the free guy.
right, yeah, yeah, free
So,
guy. So yeah, I mean, I would love to see Channing Tatum there, even if it's just the split second. You know that that the Gambit project fell through, but that Gambit still exists.
and
So
Channing
it's
Tatum has
it's
mentioned multiple times that that's his like biggest regret in movies is the fact that that never got to happen.
right,
Like even if
yeah,
he didn't get to be part of the MCU, he said he would have even if Gambit his movie would have just been a standalone, not connected to anything else. He
right,
just wanted to do it because he likes the character, he liked the comics, he
right,
wanted to play Gambit really bad. So
sure,
that's the reason I would want to see Channing Tatum is because I love people that are passionate about the character themselves.
right.
Speaking the exact opposite would be apparently Dakota Johnson with Madam Web here. Um,
Yeah.
but Taylor Kish was also the absolute perfect Gambit.
Yeah, just the accent and everything. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he was
So,
he's just he was Friday Night Lights,
right.
um, and obviously like John Carter. Those aren't movies and shows that necessarily were blockbusters,
That
but
movie, that specific movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, um, had a packed cast. It's just the
Will
plot
I
was
Am,
just
Taylor Kish,
horrible.
Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Right. Yeah. It's it had a packed cast, but Leave Schreiber.
Yeah, Leaf Schreiber was
So
nuts.
yeah, he could have been. You could tell me it was a Sabretooth movie, and
He
I'd
makes the original Sabretooth from the original X-Men movies. He
right,
makes that Sabretooth seem comicky and like a joke, like a spoof.
right,
He
yeah,
makes it's like, oh, that's how Sabretooth really should have been. Like
right,
that's how good Liev Schreiber did.
sure. So
I don't know. I
yeah,
hope it's Daniel Radcliffe, but I also hope it's Hugh Jackman. So I'm fine with it. And I think Zach
yeah,
Efron and Taron Egerton would both do well.
right,
Taron Egerton's busy doing other movies like
right,
Kingsman 3 and all that. So I doubt it would be him, to be honest. Daniel
yeah,
Radcliffe did take a break from his plays, so he would have time to be doing this. So I'm
right.
just saying.
Yeah, the thing is, he'd have to get like he is short, right?
Yep.
Like he's got the height and everything,
Yep,
but
he's my
like
height.
he's gotta get wider. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So but yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a show full of cameos and it's a multiversal story, so I'm excited just to see who shows up, who doesn't show up. um
Yeah. Then based I mean, so a little bit more details, not just Wolverine on the trailer. It's obvious TVA is going to be a massive part of it. Deadpool's getting recruited by the TVA to basically do exactly what Loki was doing.
right,
You're special, you're your own significant variant, you're the most
right,
important, you're the Deadpool of Deadpools. Kind of like
yeah.
he's the Loki of Lokis. Um,
I heard someone say that he's the nexus being of his world,
sure.
and the reason he is a nexus being is because he's one of the few characters, or one of the only character potentially in his X-Men world, that knows he's a comic book character, that like knows already he's a comic book character.
Yeah,
And from the comics, Loki actually is the one that lets him know he's a comic book character. So it's kind of wrapped in with the TVA because Loki's
sure.
running the whole damn thing. So yeah, Paradox
And
might,
he's, changed the past.
right. And so yeah, and the cable bracelet that
Yeah.
just
But I
is
mean, he's
not
not the
okay.
only person we've seen in the MCU that acknowledges that they're a show and
Right.
they're a character. We have
Yeah.
She-Hulk has
Right.
done all the
Yeah.
same things that people are praising Deadpool for, but apparently they didn't like that. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Um, especially because Tatiana Maslany is hilarious and did a great job. We
Yeah.
we don't have to talk about that too much, but a lot of people are using Deadpool's awesomeness to tear down current Marvel products, with She-Hulk and the Marvels taking the brunt of it.
Right.
Um, fun,
Yeah, because
interestingly enough, those are both female led
when Deadpool makes a sex joke, like right off the bat when he breaks the fourth wall and
with
looks
the
at the
pegging,
camera, the pegging thing in regards to like, oh, I'm pegging isn't new to me, friendo,
but
but it
it's
is
new
to
to
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah, and then he looks at the camera. When Deadpool makes a sexual reference, it's funny, but when She-Hulk does it, it's
Classless and
yeah, I
shouldn't
know.
doesn't have a place for on TV.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I
So,
wonder what the main difference is there, which
right,
we're big Marvel fans, and we talked about this the other night when we were playing games. It's hard to admit that you're a big Marvel fan when the reputation of big Marvel fans is like
right.
you hate women
Yeah,
and you're just like the ultimate bros bro. Like the coolest thing you've ever seen is a flip reloading gun. Like that scene with the slow motion reloading gun.
yeah,
John Wick does very similar things. Like just go watch John
right,
Wick. If you think that's cool, go watch John Wick. It's pretty
right,
sweet. So it's just it's the favoritism towards Ryan Reynolds and
right,
Deadpool without being able to acknowledge like you're just extremely biased towards this awesome person and awesome character,
right,
and it doesn't take away anything. She-Hulk and Tatiana Maslany just also happen to be awesome.
right. Yeah,
um I don't know, I'm excited for the movie. I think it's going to be super good. It's probably going to break the billion.
yeah. I mean, there was a thing I saw on Twitter that was like, "Is this going to be a billion? Like, is it? Could they hit a billion?" And I was like, "I don't think there's any chance it doesn't hit a billion.
It's
Like,
kind of
it's
like Joker 2. You're
yeah, fully
it's
a dude. Yeah,
I fully expect it to surpass the first one. I know it
sure,
doesn't always happen where the sequel does more or does better, but I feel like right now there's a huge lull in movies. Like people, even good movies that are coming out aren't doing well in the box office, and
right,
people like movies like Argyle, $250
right,
million budget or $235 million budget, and first weekend makes like 12 million. I think people,
right,
because movies happen to be so expensive now, I do think people save and pick a couple movies a year that
right.
they're willing to go to. And I think right now people are just waiting to go to things
Yeah,
like Deadpool.
yeah. It's just the implications of it and just the whole TVA thing. Here's another thing that people are pissed at for no reason is for the Marvels, for instance, the most recent Disney streaming thing is people were upset because now they're like, oh, we have to watch Captain Marvel,
Hmm.
we have to watch Miss Marvel, we
Yep.
have to watch WandaVision just to understand who all these characters are, and they're getting upset because they have to watch all these things to understand what's going on in the movie. Um, but then with Deadpool, you got to watch Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, probably all of the old X-Men movies. You probably have to watch Elektra because she might be in it. Like Jennifer Garner's Elektra. You might have to
Loki
go
season one
watch
and two.
Loki season 1 and 2. You're probably gonna have to watch shit, there was one more. Maybe possibly the Fantastic Four, like the old
Yeah.
Fantastic Fours. Not a peep.
Right. Nobody seems to care about having to watch most
Doesn't
likely
matter.
all those things. Not just those original X-Men, but like all the way through to like
Yeah, the
all the way up to
13
Logan.
X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
but nobody cares because again, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool.
right.
But because of that, no peeps, that's what makes me extra confident that it's probably going to be breaking a billion,
Oh,
because
yeah.
all these
Every
people that
movie,
are going to
every
go see
Deadpool
it,
has.
they've already
Yeah,
seen it. And a lot of
yeah,
people that aren't huge into superhero movies are
yeah,
have seen the X-Men movies, which is interesting to me. That's why when we talk about like what are the most important things that Marvel has to nail for the future, we talk about Fantastic Four is one they have to get perfect. And then X-Men, it's because like X-Men is when people who don't care about superheroes, they always just I don't know, like X-Men, like the X-Men.
yeah, yeah. I
They just
mean,
throw them in.
those were the comic book movies before the MCU started. Were Fantastic Four. They were all the X-Men movies.
And then
And
Tobey
so
Maguire Spider-Man.
and Spider-Man, right? And so like we have such a like affiliation and love towards those movies,
Right.
even though they probably weren't the greatest, like looking back at it. But
Right. When you have
yeah,
like a couple of the other standout, like I would put the Underworld
Spider-Man
in that
2. Oh,
superhero-esque,
sure.
Spawn, Blade,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I mean, even Matrix is a
Right.
superhero. Like to me, that
Sure.
feels like a Marvel-ish movie, just
Right.
with a way better story.
Sure.
Um, I think they're gonna nail it, just like they would have, like I think they will with X-Men. Ryan Reynolds seems extremely confident with it, which obviously
Oh,
that's just him in
yeah.
general. But with the hype, the most watched trailer ever
Yeah.
on top, like how it broke Endgame's views, it broke
No Way Home
No Way Home,
was the record holder. Yeah.
but No Way Home
So
made what, 800 million?
No Way Home made like 2 billion.
2 billion?
I'm
Okay,
pretty
I thought it was the
positive.
800
Yeah.
million. Okay.
Yeah. Like in total, it was like right up there with Endgame and Infinity War. No Way Home
I
was.
must be thinking Multiverse of Madness or something.
Yeah, that one was like 500.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. To will it break 2 billion? I don't think so. But I think for people that are just looking to see a good, entertaining movie, they're going to see this. And then the people that want to see a good superhero movie again are going to go see this.
No Way Home is seventh all time.
Okay.
Infinity War is sixth all time.
Okay.
So, and then Avengers Endgame is second. So, yeah, it's gonna be right up there. I mean, it's gonna be
And do
it's
you think
gonna.
they're going to make Deadpool then into our MCU? Because he's
I think
technically still Fox.
I think I think he's going. It's gonna be. I think Incursions is what they're gonna do.
Okay.
I don't know where he's gonna end up, but it looks like he at some point gets trapped at the end of time.
Hmm.
Um, you
Which
see,
that go ahead and finish, but that does bring me to the main thing I wanted to talk about.
sure, it looks like he might get pruned at some point. And you see some of these old things also getting pruned. It looked like there was like the Golden Gate Bridge was in there somewhere where which Magneto moved in one of the things. There's the helicarrier still that you see in like Loki season one. Like it looks like he's trapped at the end of time, but the end of time is like a finite thing. Like there's not an end of time at every world.
Sure.
It's like just the TVA, our TVA has that at the end of time. So I don't know. You might get a Renslayer
Yeah.
cameo. You may get a Loki cameo. I'm hoping you get a Mobius cameo. I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be insane. I'm gonna go in there and just have no idea, and I'm gonna get blown away by everything. So
Well, it's the idea of cameos that I was thinking about when I was watching it, because with the TVA being such a focus, yeah, Renslayer might show up, Loki might show up. Obviously, I think Kang was going to show up.
sure,
If those guys were going to show up, then there's no reason why Kang wouldn't.
sure.
Um, do you think they had to do any sort of adjustments, or do you think Kang was ever a part of it? Because if he was, I feel like it'll be noticeable that Kang was supposed to be there.
Um,
Like they're going to the end of time.
I think they're going to, and I've seen a lot of theories about this. I think that the end of time is going to be the battle world.
Okay.
Like I think they're going to, I don't know, maybe instead of like incursions, they're just gonna prune everyone to the end of time and just have a giant like battle at the end of time. But I don't know. I think with Monica like going to the other universe and with Fox's universe kind of being parallel to ours, I think the incursion thing is what they're gonna do.
Sure.
Um, I just don't know how they're
Okay.
doing it. Well,
Well, we'll
so
see.
yeah,
Other like quick things before I think we probably should move on to Fantastic Four. Pyro's back.
yeah, that
Original actor
was
playing Pyro.
sick. It was sick to see.
And a lot of
I'm
people
very
didn't recognize him at first, which surprised me.
yeah. Yeah, I think I watched it with subtitles on, so it said pyro, and then God, I love this part. So, um, yeah, I think you're gonna get too many Easter eggs to capture in one watch through.
Which will help the viewing totals in the box office because people will go a second time to pay closer attention.
Yeah, I'm so excited
I wouldn't
for
be
it.
surprised if this is the first movie in a long time where I've gone to see it more than once.
Yeah, I actually got chills when Paradox showed him like you could be the hero of all heroes, which you don't actually see him say that, so that could be from a different point and context in the thing.
Right.
But he shows them all the Avengers like clips, like the battles in Sokovia and Iron Man 2 and Civil War and stuff. And I got chills at that moment because I was like, it's finally happening. Like
Right.
Deadpool is finally joining our world.
And he salutes
And
Captain America.
yeah, yeah. So it's just I don't know, like that. I got chills during that moment, and I was like, finally, like this is such a big like nerdgasm
That
for
definitely is
me. So
Deadpool 3 is like nerdgasm, what we've been wanting as fans to happen. Like you need to delete act like make a statement that these are all going away. This is the future. This is happening. These people still existed, but
yeah,
now this is what all of that seems to be coming. What basically we expected Multiverse of Madness to kind of be. I think Deadpool 3 is going to be exactly what people want it to be.
I think that I think they're going. Like I said, I think they're going to go with the incursion route.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think Paradox is going to be like, we need you to stop this incursion. Like you're the only one that can stop the incursion, and I think he's not going to succeed, or he's going to choose not to succeed, or something like that.
Deadpool will.
Yeah. Um, Whether that's to like save people, I would imagine it's to save people because that's going to be like the underlying message is
And
like, who
that's
can he
kind of
save?
his whole
Right,
MO.
right. So is like the character trajectory of like, am I good? Am I bad? What's the right thing to do? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to break every Deadpool record. I think it's going to break records. I think so.
Sure.
Um,
Well,
very
we talked
excited.
about Multiverse of Madness. Well, in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange talks to Mr. Talks to Reed Richards,
Yeah.
saying, "Didn't you guys do something in the '60s?
Chart in the
Start
60s.
in the
I think he was
'60s?"
referring to the band. There's like a band named Fantastic Four that was in the 60s.
Well, Fantastic Four cast was announced, and
Yes.
apparently the movie itself takes place in
Yeah, he's
1963.
a yeah, it's a Ben Grimm is reading a Life magazine straight from like 1963 is when that magazine came out. Which I think we've talked about the Fantastic Four before, and I believe it was Peyton Reed that said what he wanted to do. He's the director of like Ant-Man and stuff. Is what he wanted to do was to make it a like older movie, like a 60s movie, and then they get trapped in like the quantum realm, which is probably what's going to happen. And then they get released in our time, and that's what it kind of seems like is going to happen. And I'm for that because if Scott Lang was trapped down there for 5 hours, 5 years passed. So if the Fantastic Four were trapped down there for 5 years, 50 years would pass, something along those lines, right? Like,
Sure,
however, maybe not 5 years, but my time sucks. But
a long time.
maybe they're down there for like a month, and then all of a sudden it's 40 years later. You know what I
Which
mean?
then we could get some returning fan favorites from Quantumania, even ones that died.
Right. Yeah,
You can
because
some of
they
the characters that
right,
were in, like even Bill Murray, even though people weren't huge fans of that character, but like some of the
right,
better characters from
sure,
Quantumania could
yeah,
be cool to see bring back.
right.
Maybe.
Janet Van Dyne, maybe.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't know if the timeline matches up, but
yeah. See, you never know. You don't know, but she was down there for
I just think
20
if they're gonna
years.
make
So
it take place in '63, or the characters are supposed to be from '63, I hope that they make it clear that like that's what year they were born. I like I don't want them to feel like modern people.
right,
Like I don't want them to come out and being like, "All right, yep, 2024. I'm going to act like it's 2024. I'm just
sure,
like I was born and whatever and I grew
right,
up." Like I
I
like
think if you have
63 is
a
about when like 63
grease
you
lightning,
right, and you would
yeah,
be you at that you'd be that's the last 64 is the last year of like baby boomers. So they should
sure,
all kind of have, boomer political views, act like like
right.
they should seem like baby boomer mentality in my opinion.
Right. And I think they're a little different too because they're superheroes, so that may or may not impact it. But I kind of want like a Captain America, the first Avenger kind of thing, where like they try to trick him and be like, "Oh yeah, like this is the world you're in." Well, now he's got the old baseball game on the
You're on the radio.
radio, and like some girl enters and she's in the get up and whatever, and he realizes like I was at this game, like I was at this game when I was younger, so like this isn't right. And I think I kind of want that where like you go through the whole movie and you maybe get their time in the 60s, halfway through they get sucked down into the quantum realm, you get that story in the quantum realm, and then they pop out and it's like you're here now. Like you're here now, and everyone's like, maybe Nick Fury walks up and he's like, Reed Richards. Like Nick Fury probably would have been like just starting with Shield. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
and I
that would have
think
been
since because Fantastic Four comes out after Deadpool, so I think after Deadpool it will give you any speculation on future Marvel movies will be a lot more clear
right,
because I mean you might see something related to Deadpool in Fantastic Four that makes Fantastic Four make way more sense, especially
right,
like being stuck in quantum realm,
sure,
anything like that. So all of that will help, but we haven't even mentioned it. The cast of Fantastic Four, Pedro Pascal will be Reed Richards. Um, Joseph Quinn
yes,
will be Human Torch.
right,
Vanessa Kirby will be Sue Storm, Invisible
yep,
Woman,
yep.
and I cannot remember the guy's.
Eben Moss Bachron is
There you
how I
go.
pronounce
Will
it.
be the
So
Thing, which I've seen mixed reviews. Some people love a couple of them. The only ones that I see have 100% love it are the Thing and Invisible Woman.
yeah, Eben Moss Bachron played a character called Micro in the Punisher series. He was phenomenal in that. He's like a tech genius thing. He's got like a family that he's like he gets too far in, and Punisher's like, I'll take care of you. Just help me out. Help me find these people so I can take care of them. I'll keep your family safe. So that's kind of what happens is he helps Punisher out. Punisher keeps him safe. But he's obviously going to be a different character. So
Yeah.
with the fact that Kingpin's Vanessa is going to be changed. I'm sure Micro probably a different variant of him too. So yeah, I think I've seen just astounding like praise for those two castings, and then the like I don't know if they can do it kind of thing with the other two. So
And I haven't seen like that's what's awesome is I haven't seen a ton of work from all four of them. Like Pedro
sure,
Pascal's the biggest name, but I even if I've only seen like one or two things, I haven't seen a ton of them in everything, which
sure,
is
like you
nice
got
because that's one thing I've been asking for is run it like the beginning of the MCU where you don't necessarily take people at their peak and throw them in. You take people and make their character from Marvel be their
right,
peak.
right, and you could say that Pedro Pascal is probably peaking right now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
and so they got like the recognizable face, and they got the acting chops. He's done damn near every role you need to. Like he's been the like the villain in Wonder Woman 84, I believe he was in that. He's been the like kind of like the arrogant showman kind of person in Game of Thrones. He's been the like serious protector in Mandalorian. So like he's done everything. He's
And
been
a
the
serious protector in Last of Us.
Last of Us, yeah. So like well that's like a brutal serious protector. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of it's different,
His
but
Hot Ones is also good if you haven't seen it.
right. So yeah, I mean he's definitely got the chops. I think just he doesn't have the look, and so people are like, it's not good, it's gonna be shit. So but I mean he's gonna do great.
I think Vanessa Kirby, we talked about this. She's going to be 100%. So first of all, I wanted to toss this in as well. They also did pick a Jewish actor to play a Jewish character, which is the
Right.
thing.
Right.
I know that that is something that is important to a lot of people. So people were big fans of that. I think that does help why people are so encouraged by that casting.
Sure.
But Vanessa Kirby, we mentioned this. She's probably going to steal the show. She's going to be the exact person you want the Invisible Woman to be. Jack Kirby created the character, so you got the
Sure.
same last name.
Last name, right. Yeah.
Um, I just think it's kind of cool. I think she's going to be a lock, something really good. I
Yeah.
think people are being hard on Joseph Quinn for God knows
Right.
why. What
It's
is
because of
so
the one character he portrayed in Stranger Things. He did very well as that character, and people are like, he can't do Johnny Storm because he does this.
he's
He
such a
did
good
this.
actor. There's no way he'd be able to act.
Right. Yeah. Well, and they don't like the look of him, and I'm like, dude, you get the like, I don't know, especially if it's set in the 60s. Like I tweeted this the other day. It's like he's gonna pop out of the quantum realm looking like Danny Zuko. He's gonna have like the curl and the slick back hair, and he's gonna flame on. It's gonna go like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're a little harsh on him.
There's no reason why they should be as hard. I think he's gonna do just fine.
Yeah,
Like, even if he's the worst of the four, I don't think he's gonna be bad.
yeah.
And
I don't either.
it just blows my mind the reaction that people had from him. Like, I guess we're done having the pretty one be Human Torch. Like, okay, so he's not a model. I guarantee he's still better looking than most people because he's an actor. Like,
Right. Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I think he's gonna. Wish I could give him like. I wish I could see him in person so I could be like, dude, I think you're gonna kill it.
Right. I know, and just the thing, like when he's just completely covered in flames, you're gonna see him and be like, "Wow, dude, he's orange." You know,
Yeah.
like,
God, his fire looks so different. I hate it.
yeah, it's because they cast him. Is his fire sucks. Like, it's just dumb.
It is very dumb.
Stupid. Like,
Invisible Woman, she's invisible. God, she's terrible.
right, right. No presence on screen. It's just, I don't know. It's people are way too harsh. Like I've brought this up too. Like if you came to someone 15 years ago and you showed them a picture of Anthony Mackie, he's got the little gap in his teeth of his smiling, right? Like you show them that picture and you're like, oh, by the way, this is Captain America.
Papa Doc's gonna be Captain America.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, what? That's a horrible idea. Like, and now it's like, dude, you're gonna have the coolest scenes like ever in Brave New World. Like he's gonna be
There's a good
fighting
chance
Red
that we
Hulk.
have somebody who's as good or better than Chris Evans as Captain America.
Yeah, but it's not the typical standard look of that character. So
God, he's
it
so great.
people
I
don't
love
like it.
Anthony Mackie so much. He's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah,
Pedro Pascal, I did mention this on Twitter. He is the my biggest question mark, not just because of looks. Like, yeah, look, it's I'm gonna when I, s- it, I that's the hard part about picking people, taking people at their peak and putting them here. Like, I'm supposed to look at him and be immersed and forget that he's not Mr. Fantastic. I feel
right.
like I'm going to be able to do that with Joseph Quinn. I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to be able to do that with all these other characters. But when I see him, I'm going to be like, "Where's Grogu? Where's
Yeah.
like why are there no dragons flying
Where's
around?"
the Last of Us? I forgot her name. Bella
Yeah.
Ramsey's who plays it, but
Yeah, where's
Ellie.
Bella Ramsey? When does she
Where's
show
Ellie?
up?
Yeah, yeah.
Or sorry,
So
they show up.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah. So I
I
don't know.
just it's gonna
But
be
getting
hard.
someone of that stature, like that they can do it. Like that they can do it. It's just I hope they let him do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want them to like be like, you need to be this, like this is what we're looking for, like go for it. You know what I mean? Not like you have to do this.
Right.
That's what I like. I'd rather them have a little freedom, kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. did with Iron Man, where he just wing stuff
Yeah.
and it'd be
But just like I said with people's criticism of Joseph Quinn, Pedro Pascal is such a good actor. I shouldn't be worried about his ability to play Mr. Fantastic.
right.
I just think it is up to the animation team because the Fantastic Four is heavily going to be
Yeah.
heavily CGI.
Heavily. Yeah.
It's going to be like an insane amount.
Yeah.
it's going to be huge on them to help the viewers as well as the writing. Otherwise, I
Here's
have full faith in all of them as actors.
here's one more thing. If you're going to start it in 1963, you don't necessarily have to have the origins. Like you don't have to do the origin story. Like we don't need another origin story. But are you going to include Victor Von Doom in that said thing or make references to him? That's the big thing. So, I mean, that's something they got to figure out because if they get out of the quantum realm, if that's where they go, Victor's got to come with them.
People
So
thought they saw a variant Doom in the Deadpool trailer.
it's just a mask,
It's
dude.
just a mask. It's not Doom. Like, I think they're gonna take their time with Doom. I think Galactus is gonna be the main concern in this one, or even somebody like a
Mole
Anya
Man.
Taylor-Joy's Silver Surfer,
Yeah.
or it might be. It's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be Doom because they're waiting to tell us Cillian Murphy's got it.
Yeah. And then the leads for Doctor Doom are Cillian, who they want is Cillian Murphy or Henry Cavill. So those are the two people they want for
I
that.
apologize to Henry because I think he's great, but Cillian Murphy, I'd take him 100 times out
Oh
of
yeah.
100 in those.
100, yeah, 100%. But
Like,
I don't think Henry Cavill would do bad either
I
because you
don't
don't
think
get to
so. I
see
just
him
think
as the
there's
villain.
other things he would do better,
Right. Yeah.
especially in Marvel, but like there's other things he would do
Sure.
better. Or
Right.
Superman.
Oh, yeah. I guess one final thing. 2025,
Yeah.
us nerds are eating
Yeah,
that year.
absolutely.
Holy moly.
I tweeted that out too. I was like, yeah,
Good
we're gonna
lord.
eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
It's gonna be good. It's
So,
a good year for comic book nerd movies.
yeah. Yeah. It's like Captain America, I think Batman 2, you got Superman, Superman Legacy, Fantastic Four. It just goes on and on. There's like
Yeah.
5 or 6 or 7.
It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Gonna be spending a good amount of time in movie theaters, and I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
mad about it because this
Right.
year is a slow start.
We got Deadpool.
And Madam Web.
And Craven. We got Craven. So that's gonna be good. Going through that whole thing and then be like, his name is, and then it'll cut off.
And Moana too.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, if you guys are excited, if you notice something in the trailer that maybe nobody's talked about, feel free to let us know on Twitter, comments, all that. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and yeah, we're gonna go do our thing. Just want to let you all know you all look great today. GG.
G.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be